Hi, I'm Stuart Elliott, the editor-in-chief of The Real Deal, and this is another episode of Quick Question, where we take a look at different areas of the real estate market. Today, we're going to look at what's happening with townhouses in New York, and I've got with me Jed Garfield, whose name is synonymous with townhouses. His company, Leslie J. Garfield, which was started by his father nearly 50 years ago, is the top brokerage specializing in townhouses. Jed's done more than 600 townhouse deals in his career. So, Jed, welcome.
Why, thank you, Stuart. Thank you for having me.
So first question, the New York real estate market was hit harder by COVID than the suburbs and second home markets. How has that impacted townhouses in particular?
So, we just actually finished looking at our numbers last week, and what we found was both better and worse than I expected. I certainly anticipated in March that we were going to have a significant drop off in values. In fact, within the townhouse space, pricing's only down 5 to 7% total. And I was really anticipating like closer to 20%. I really thought things were going to drop off the cliff. I think that certainly the last couple of months, things have picked up again in terms of volume. I think that there are a couple things that were happening. As I said, pricing was down. Volume, however, fell off a cliff. Volume was down close to 40% for a 6-month period. It has since come back. Going forward, it'll sort of be interesting to see what happens. I think that one of the things keeping pricing where it is right now is that there's not a tremendous amount of inventory on the market. And from a pure supply and demand perspective, that's absolutely playing a role. We'll see what happens. I think truly time will tell in the sense of the next couple of months, which is the traditional selling season. I know that I personally, am bringing to market another 6 properties. And across the board, we cover the markets basically from Harlem out to Park Slope. I think as an average, each of our brokers is bringing on at least 3 new properties. So we'll see. We'll see what happens in terms of pricing. Intuitively,
right,
I would certainly think that prices may come down a little bit. But
it's just interesting what you say about different neighborhoods. There was a hit in terms of activity. It seems like it's a little better, like you say, at the beginning of the year. How about Manhattan versus Brooklyn? Did you see, more get hold up a little bit better in Brooklyn?
Yeah, things are much better in Brooklyn. As a matter of fact, it's sort of, we sort of cover different neighborhoods. So different brokers cover different areas and they're responsible for those. The guys that cover, or the guys and gals that cover Brooklyn Heights and Carroll Gardens and Park Slope are doing really well. We actually saw only, it's statistically insignificant. There was like a 1.5% reduction in value, but it was whatever. There wasn't enough volume to really determine that was right. But the guys in Brooklyn are doing great. As a matter of fact, Stuart, it seems as though the more traditional neighborhoods, Upper East Side, Upper West Side, are definitely getting hurt a lot more. Definitely West Village, and then going out into Brooklyn is still good. I mean, good, if not like surprisingly good. Brooklyn is hot. I mean, it's stunning to me how many people there are who will spend, for us mid-market, which is like $5 to $10 million on houses.
And Brooklyn saw a record townhouse deal at $25 million.
The Viola thing. I know, that's amazing. Any idea who bought it? Because I don't.
Yeah, no, still looking into that. Jed, how are you seeing the townhouse market affected by what some people are calling like the co-primary living, where people are splitting their time between the country or second home markets in the city? Is that impacting any movement in the market or anything like that?
I mean, I think the initial movement, I think in March, April, there was a genuine immigration, if you will, out to everyone's country houses, whether it's in, Long Island or New England or, Montana or Colorado, wherever that was. Major moves. There was some selling that took place, but for the most part in our market, people are affluent enough that it's not like, oh, I need to sell a place to go elsewhere. Mm-hmm. So I think there's been a tremendous amount of wait and see. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I'm starting to see is a return from people's second homes back to the city, mm-hmm. Linked with the medical care that people are now able to get. Mm-hmm. So that's sort of what I'm seeing.
Yeah. How about relative to like condos and co-ops? Has there been any kind of selling point for townhouses in terms of like, you more likely to have outdoor space or you're living,
I think
proximity to other people?
Stuart, there have been a lot of townhouse owners that I've spoken to that are sort of talking up that game, mm-hmm. but I'm not really seeing a dramatic change. I mean, intuitively, it all makes sense. You don't want to be in a co-op or condominium because you don't want all these shared spaces. You want your privacy. But the reality is I still think that people are looking ultimately for location and value. And it seems as though that has not changed dramatically.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It also seems like people are spending so much time at home these days that everybody's looking to do some fixing up. Are people looking, when they're initially buying a place now, are they looking more for fixer-uppers or turnkey places or any kind of?
Virtually everybody wants turnkey. Nobody mm-hmm. wants to do work. Mm-hmm. I think there's an impression that both getting work done today is a little more challenging. Mm-hmm. And I think it's true because I do think, Stuart, that what you're saying is very accurate. There is a lot of the mindset is very prevalent that people are like, oh, this is a great time to fix things up. But most of the people I'm seeing that are moving primarily from condominiums and co-ops into houses, they don't want the headache. They just mm-hmm. want to be done. And I think a renovation on top of the pandemic is, it's a lot to ask of people.
It's a tricky combo. I guess if you're already in a space, then you feel like, well, let's do some sprucing up here. I spend 24 hours a day here, but
yeah,
you're moving up. I could see that. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, Jed. I really appreciate your insight on the townhouse market.
Sure. Thank you, Stuart.
Thanks for joining us. Thanks.